We have as yet hardly spoken of the infant, that little creature whose innocent life had sprung by inscrutable degree of providence, a lovely and immortal flower, out of the rank luxuriance of a guilty passion. How strange it seemed to the sad woman as she watched the growth and the beauty that became every day more brilliant, and the intelligence that threw its quivering sunshine over the tiny features of this child. Her Pearl, for so had Hester called her, not as a name expressive of her aspect, which had nothing of the calm, white, unimpassioned luster that would be indicated by the comparison, but she named the infant Pearl as being of a great price, purchased with all she had, her mother's only treasure. How strange indeed! Man had marked this woman's sin by a scarlet letter, which had such potent and disastrous efficacy that no human sympathy could reach her, save it were sinful like herself. God, as a direct consequence of the sin which man thus punished, had given her a lovely child, whose place was on the same dishonored bosom, that connection to her parent forever with the race and descent of mortals, and to be finally blessed, a blessed soul in heaven. Yet those thoughts affected Hester Prynne less with hope than apprehension. She knew that her deed had been evil. She could have no faith, therefore, that its result would be good. Day after day she looked fearfully into the child's expanding nature, ever dreading to detect some dark and wild peculiarity that should correspond with the guiltiness to which she owed her being. So this little girl gets more beautiful and more intelligent every day. Well, children grow, but her intelligence is almost like a blessing. So she has been punished by man on earth, but it seems to her that God has given her this beautiful, intelligent daughter with nothing wrong with her. So she just keeps waiting for that shoe to drop, that something to be wrong with Pearl, something dark within Pearl, because Pearl should be a punishment too, right? Man's punished her by prison and the scaffold and wearing the scarlet letter forever, so God has to punish her by her something with her child, right? Make sense? She named her Pearl not because she's a calm, beautiful little girl, which she is beautiful, but she's nothing like a pearl. Like that, you think of pearls, you think like the stay in one place, the proper. This child is nothing like that. She's wild and she's carefree, not like that. But she named her Pearl because she had to pay dearly. She paid with everything she had, and the only thing she has left is Pearl. Just like if you were really poor and you paid for a string of pearls, they would be all you had to show for it, right? Because pearls are expensive. She paid with everything in her life for this daughter, so that's why she named her Pearl. Certainly, there was no physical defect. By its perfect shape, its vigor, its natural dexterity, and the use of all its untried limbs, the infant was worthy to have been brought forth in Eden, worthy to have been left there to be a plaything of the angels after the world's first parents were driven out. The child had a native grace which does not invariably coexist with faultless beauty. Its attire, however simple, always impressed the beholder as if it were the very garb that precisely became it best. But little Pearl was not clad in rustic weeds. Her mother, with a morbid purpose that may be better understood hereafter, had bought it the richest tissues that could be procured and allowed her imaginative faculty its full play in arrangement and decoration of the dresses which the child wore before the public eye. So magnificent was the small figure when thus arrayed, and such was the splendor of Pearl's own proper beauty, shining through the gorgeous robes which might have extinguished a paler loveliness, that there was an absolute circle of radiance around her on the darksome cottage floor. And yet a rustic gown, torn and soiled with the child's rude play, made a picture of her just as perfect. Pearl's aspect was imbued with a spell of infinite variety. In this one child there were many children, comprehending the full scope between the wildflower prettiness of a peasant baby and the pomp and little of an infant princess. Throughout all, however, there was a trait of passion, a certain depth of hue which she never lost, and if, in any of her changes, she had grown fainter or paler, she would have ceased to be herself. It would have been no longer Pearl. So she's very fair-skinned, but she looks pretty in whatever you put her in. It's almost like she has this perfect. There's nothing wrong with this child, right? She's perfect enough she could play in the Garden of Eden and belong there. But she normally wears these beautiful, finest clothing that her mom can procure, right? And her mom can get money. But, well, the mom wears pretty much rags, right? But she dresses her this way, which we'll talk about more later, like what the actual dresses look like. But when she's at home, she just wears her everyday dresses and gets dirty because she's out playing. So she can go from being a wildflower out playing in the woods, because they would live by the woods, to being like a luxuriant princess. And she knows how to change her mood already. She knows how to fit what she needs to fit to get whatever she wants. So she already knows how to do these things. Her intelligence is far beyond the normal child. We'll just say that. She seems to know more than the normal child already. And not like in books or anything like that, as she's not old enough for that. But it seems like she has the know-how to get what she wants in certain situations. And there's always this kind of wildness about her and passion to her character. Okay, we're going to run out of time.